got a chance to see the new Daisy Ridley film, Cleaner. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zenka. I'm a award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. Lots of stuff going down. Let's see if anything actually goes ahead. I am writing a script for a client right now. It is a little low budget. I may be writing a World War II novel to kind of go in hand with the previous World War II novel that is perfectly on Amazon right now. So yeah, I got those two things going on. And then on top of that, I got a call today. This said that we possibly have financing for Destiny Aurora, which is my 4-novel series and graphic novel and board game by the end of the year. That would be amazing if that happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's true, but you just never know until the money's in the bank, because we're talking about, a $20 or $30 million film at a minimum. So it would be amazing to try to get that done. But yeah, a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that something happens. But the fact that I'm writing a script for somebody right now is enough for me. So anyway, let's talk about Cleaner. Before we do, remember to give me a like and subscribe if you can. And also remember, too, that we have running right now the 90th anniversary Green Hornet anthology written by Timothy Zahn, who writes for Star Wars. He created Thrawn, and if you're familiar with that character. Also, if you're familiar with the books of Dune, Kevin J. Anderson is also writing a story here. Most of the stories actually are already done. We're just waiting on a couple more, so pretty much we won't have to wait for long for fulfillment for this. But Bill Willingham, we have cover art by Matt Wagner, who did Batman and Grendel. We just unlocked interior artwork by Dennis Calero from Marvel Noir. Just a whole bunch of amazing people on this thing. Of course, it is fully funded on Kickstarter right now. We're about to unlock another stretch goal. We're only like $1,500 from shooting it from another stretch goal, which is going to be a second cover. It's going to be great. Anyway, click the link in the description below or check out greenhornetnoir.com. It'll take you to the Kickstarter, and jump in now while you can. The signed stuff will not be available in stores. It'll also be more expensive than what we have on Kickstarter right now, so do not wait. Jump into that now. All right, let's jump into Cleaner. So I am a fan of Daisy Ridley. I'm just not a fan of Rey. I was a fan of Rey until the character was totally destroyed and murdered by the various writers and directors that came after the first movie. I think as a Star Wars fan, I think we all had high hopes for what would come of Rey in the Star Wars franchise, but unfortunately, it was just plain character assassination on the parts of the filmmakers. I don't know why they wanted to destroy a character, but they did a very, very good job of just assassinating that character. And now they keep saying, "Oh, we're going to put make another movie. We're going to make it with an activist who's never created a film before." We're like, no, we will not see it. We will not see it. So if you want to go ahead and spend $300 million on a movie that nobody's going to go see, you go for it, buddy. It's happening with Captain America right now. It's a $300 million movie. I know everybody said it's $180 million, but that's not the case. It was $180 million before they did all the reshoots. That movie is upwards of $300 million with all the reshoots that they did. And then on top of that, you have $150 million in prints and advertising. That film is going to lose at least $150 million by the time this thing is done. And the same, if they release another movie, I think they know it. I think if they know that they're release another, I think that's why they announced it, to see what the temperature would be like if they put it out. And the temperature was so bad, I think that's why they're just not going to put it out. I still don't think it's going to get greenlit. But on top of that, I don't think that Daisy Ridley is an action star. She's just not, ScarJo. She can't pull it. And the reason I say that is because I saw another movie that she was in with Mendelsohn, also from Marvel, and he played this one of the Skrulls from Captain Marvel, and he also was in Star Wars as well. Played Krennic, and it was called The Marsh King's Daughter, and she just looked like a fish out of water almost through the whole. She was supposed to play like a survivalist, and it just didn't happen, man. Just didn't happen. However, so I was very skeptical going in, and I knew this was going to be like Die Hard, the British version of Die Hard, okay, which is exactly what it is. When you're walking in there, that's what you're getting. You're getting the British version of Die Hard, except it doesn't have as much action. It's more of a thriller than it is an action movie, and maybe that kind of works to the film's not detriment, but to its positive, because I did walk out of there saying, okay, yeah, I had a good time with this, and even though I knew it was a complete ripoff, but it just goes to show you when you put in the right director, and you don't cast a director for what you think that your DEI needs, but you actually bring in a director that knows his shit, what the difference is. So this was directed by Martin Campbell, who's 80 years old. He's been directing since 1973. I mean, the guy's been directing forever. But he directed oodles and oodles and oodles of very, very well-known action films. Some of the things that you might recognize is Mask of Zorro, The Legend of Zorro. So he did both the Zorro movies. He also did GoldenEye. He also did Casino Royale. The first new set of James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. So the guy has been, directing forever. He knows how to direct action. And you know what? What a difference of her action scenes. She only has a couple of action scenes in here, but she actually pulled it in this one because he brought his team in, and it wasn't a girl boss thing. She was majorly beat up at the end. So she was taking punches, but not well. And she was getting thrown around, and only by using some deft movements was she able to beat the guy. And in fact, there was one kick at the end. I was like, whoa! I'm sure that wasn't her that did it, but the fact that they sold it, I believed it. And they really, the guy playing the villain, Taj, he played an amazing villain, Taz Skylar. The only thing he's been working for the last 10 years, but the only thing I recognized him from was Sanji from One Piece, if you know who that is. And he did a really, really good job. So this has Clive Owen is also in this. What also it kind of surprised me was that they, with today's activists, they kind of lean in to the activism nowadays. But they made the activists the villains. I was surprised at that, because normally it's the other way around. Don't call them terrorists, we saw from Marvel. So this movie was it's a 25 million pounds, which is about $31 million. So this is a $30 million film. But outside of Mission Impossible, this has some of the best exterior building shots that I've ever seen. It has some really, really good stuff. It has her on the scaffolding and, all that other stuff. And because she's a window cleaner. And the fact that they also made it realistic that she could not get back into the building because the window couldn't be broken. So I really like that. And in fact, she was hitting the thing and hitting it, and she could never break it, even with the bullet holes in it. So there is a little bit of realism there, which I appreciated. Also, some twists and turns with some betrayals that are going on within the bad guys.
and I appreciated that too. That there was like the schism happening between the different factions of the villains. I liked all that too, and that kind of changed the whole dynamic of the thriller side. So I like the set pieces that they used. I like the stuff from the building that they used. I liked the chick who played the cop. I liked all of it. I thought everybody worked pretty smart as opposed to Aftermath. I'm going to do a review on Aftermath, of which I thought the villains were really stupid and had every opportunity in the world to do certain things and they didn't. We didn't really get to see any flashbacks of her as a army person, as a military officer. We only hear about it. So that if there was any mistakes in there, it was that they probably didn't want to do those shoots. And we see her like fully made up in the military regalia with a helmet, and they should never have made her all up. They should have put some kind of a camouflage on her face or whatever, because she's like she's doing the traditional Daisy Ridley thing. I'm like, oh, that does not work. That makes her look a little too prissy. It's not like you have some of the other female officers and stuff like that all look grunty and don't have any makeup on. So yeah, I think they kind of screwed the pooch on that one. But I'm nitpicking at this point. But the plot is okay. The villains are good. It's totally it's not. I wouldn't say it's completely predictable because you have the schism going on about who's going to do what. One of the main villain is very unpredictable about what he's going to do, but the plot beats are predictable. If that makes any sense. So the characters are unpredictable, but the general plot is predictable. But it's basically Nakatomi Plaza. That's basically what it is, except in London. But if you're looking for a good little action movie, an action thriller, then I think you'll be happy with it because she can act. There's nothing wrong with her acting. It's the parts that she picks. And she's just not going to be a heavy action hero. She's not going to be a Kate Beckinsale. She's not going to be a ScarJo. It's just not going to happen. But the director knew how far to push her here, and it worked. She wasn't, doing the neck takedown and all that stuff. That's why I don't call it girl boss. She has a few, kicks and punches and stuff like that, but every time she gave, she got. To the point where, I'm surprised that she got back up, But overall, I like the film a lot, but it is what it is. I can't say it any other way, but it is what it is. You know what you're walking into, exactly what you think it is, it is. But it doesn't press its luck, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's an hour-and-a-half film. You're in and out. You're getting a little adrenaline rush, and you're gone. So, I mean, if you're going to compare this villain to Hans, there is no comparison. A far better villain, but I got to say that this guy has some chops. All right, so on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7, only because I would watch it again if it's in the if I see it pop up, I'm going to watch it again, and it does have something a little different because you have her brother has autism. And she feels guilty about not spending time with him and not having him really around. She has him kind of sequestered in this thing, but he keeps hacking stuff. So he ends up, getting pushed out of every placement, they called it, every placement he has. So the relationship that they have, and they talk about the Avengers continuously. He carries around a Thor hammer. Because autism, they are a little bit childlike. And then on top of that, Piers Morgan's name is mentioned like 5 times. I was surprised of that, how many times they mentioned Piers Morgan. Anyway, if you're into action movies, you like Daisy Ridley, go see it. If you're feeling like it's going to be too predictable, it is. So then skip it. But yeah, I supported it. It was an independent film for sure. I didn't recognize any of the distributors on it, and for that reason alone, I would go see it just to support independent film. The more independent film that's on the theater right now that does not have Paramount and Warner Brothers and all that stuff on it, the better off this entire industry is. The more they recede into the darkness, the better. Because they don't know how to shoot anything on $30 million. They don't. They'll distribute it, but they won't make it, which is fine. You know, if they just become distributors and they do maybe 3 films a year, that gives all the independents the spots in the theaters to display some movies that we probably wouldn't see otherwise. My 2 cents on that. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me that like, give me that subscribe if you can. I try to put out a video every day as long as I can, unless I'm going to be on set, which I may be doing in March. I might be a first ADing in March. But I am leaving to the next week for Gamma, for the board game convention, because me and Mark Spears have a classic Monsters card game, which we're in late pledge on this right now. You can find the link in the description below for GameFound. This is on GameFound right now. So if you'd like to get that, I'm ready to go to print. So I'm just, hopefully by next week, we'll have everything from print, ready to go for print. All right, and remember, too, that we have Green Hornet, the 90th anniversary anthology, which you can jump into right now, which I definitely suggest you do. Don't wait. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click in link in the description below. Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, Bill Willingham, just a pile of people and some amazing artists. We have chapter art now unlocked, so it's going to be great. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks again for watching.